Quick touch. Double check the steering wheel. Control.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Nice and smooth. Get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
They call this place the action track, and it's going to be one of the places where you'll see plenty of action, especially for the Mystic Racing League as its drivers for the Slim Chickens Cup Series try and sort out one important question. Who's going to score points heading into the regular season finale? Who's going to set themselves up for Daytona? And better yet, who's going to be above the cut line with a race to go after this week? I'm Justin Prince alongside Ms. Morgan Cook for tonight's coverage here on VSPEED as we get ready for 225 laps of racing from Richmond. The championship is going to be a big talking point tonight, Morgan. We're at a track that already had tempers flooring on Wednesday for the trucks, and this evening we look to find out if some of that short track flair hits for the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's short track flair, as you mentioned, but at much higher speeds than you would see at a place like Martinsville or Bristol, especially down into one very big dive bombing corner, which we could see a lot of contact in, as we did on Wednesday. But you mentioned points, JP. That cut line getting pretty spicy with only a couple races left.
Absolutely, especially with what we talked about with Ashton Crowder before tonight. He's coming in 4 wins since appearing in the Cup Series. He is the first driver out from the cut. He has a near perfect night in the point standings, potentially with the stages here, Morgan. We're talking about potentially seeing him bump Reggie Kime. Aaron Baum has missed a lot of races as of late, but look at Marino Jr., 19th. After what happened last time out, after having speed at the Brickyard, things went wrong pretty quickly for him, and now is one of the drivers, if he does appear tonight, which he is amongst those at the facility this evening, is going to have a lot of pressure to perform.
Yeah, Marino Jr. came in last week 94 below the cut line, left 54 below the cut line, so he lost 5 points appearing in Indianapolis. He's going to have to turn that around tonight because he could get Reggie Kime or Zach White by the time next week ends. Even tonight, if it all goes perfectly, potentially find himself in that top 16. This is going to be very interesting. The rest of the way, definitely a storyline to watch throughout this race and Daytona next week.
It's going to be a wild night. And remember, Daytona is that cutoff before we go to the Glen, Darlington, Bristol, Legacy, Atlanta, California. The Roval even is in there, along with Kansas, Talladega, the Paperclip, and Homestead. In the home stretch to decide a champion in October. But drivers already have set up their qualifying efforts for tonight to find out where they're going to position themselves this evening. River Hayes was the fastest in qualifying this evening, the only driver to the 21.2s. Alongside him, Christian Barnes. Landon Kelly makes an appearance again. He'll start in third tonight. Ricky Paz is down in P number 4 tonight at the 99 after being at the Brickyard on Sunday. Then, rounding out your top 5 starting positions, you're going to have Clayton Good, who's looking to try and build some momentum again after last time out. Wesley Burke has good track position in 6th. Ashton Crowder qualified down in 7th tonight, a little bit further than we have seen him in some races. Kevin Hinson just had a technical issue right on the starting grid. Will likely start from pit row, possibly after qualifying 8th. Then you have a new driver tonight we haven't seen too much of. Colin Kinzer makes an appearance alongside Dustin Lewis in your top 10, Morgan.
11th tonight will be Skylar Dixon in the 89 with Mackay Mixer filling in for the 5 in 12th. 13th for Elijah Maupin in 66 with Jesse Boston starting in 14th. 15th for Zach Davidson with Reggie Kime starting in 16th position. Row number 9 belongs to Jack Fiftner and Isaac Wilson, 17-18. In your top 20, Chris Taylor and Dave Billings.
Of note on that Wilson mark, he missed the pit command, so he'll start from pit road. David Moyer is on the track along with Anthony Marino Jr., 21st, 22nd. Michael Wade tried to put a Ford paint scheme on a Chevy. We'll show you the results of that in a moment. Brad Collier in 24th tonight. Then in 25th position, you'll find the 70 of Chad Allen make an appearance alongside Luke Barnes' 04. Then a run to the final drivers for qualifying. McCoy Banky and Michael Daly were the third and second to last on times. Zach White was the last with Aaron Underhill, the last driver on the racetrack. He just ducked down pit road. John Ullman, Joshua Gillen, and Zachary King are the last of the drivers, and a couple of those names, including Kane, including Hinson, not in the session. For Hinson technical, Kane not at the track to start the session for the race portion. And as well, the field is already doubled up. Your keys to victory here as we take a look at the analysis.
You got 225 laps. That first stage, you can make it on fuel. The second one, not so much with the 58 to 60 laps you get on a tank. 35 miles an hour on this very difficult pit road to get onto. Fixed setup as always. And let's go racing, JP.
Happy to have you with us from Richmond. We're underway on VSPEED. Good start for River Hayes, able to hold back Kelly to start. Barnes under attack for third by Good. One for the most part, keeping it clean, but the race lead is side by side. Kelly took the inside, looking to take the race lead immediately.
We got some drivers just entering the track ahead. I think that's Isaac Wilson just in front of the leaders. Oh, River Hayes slide through the grass, back up in front of traffic.
Oh, this is bad. Caution is out. Slide in the middle of the circuit. Look at the dodge by the 77 of Zach White.
That was close.
And River Hayes is lucky here. Very lucky. No one touched him. And everyone who just started from pit road just got very lucky too.
Yeah, I tried the crossover move, put the power down, and it just did not hook up. Low air pressure. Not working the way he needed it to. And then once he got pointed back to the right, it just went for a slide. Did a great job of locking it down, not letting that car roll, and everyone else, phenomenal job of avoiding him. I want to see from the 77's point of view, because he had the best look at this.
Yeah, he was one of the drivers further down the order here, Morgan, and you need to be relatively quick on the response. There's already tire smoke in the first place from the 3 wide.
He did not see Hayes until way deep into that straightaway. You could hear from the throttle trace.
Quick dodge, quick response, and already our first caution flag. As mentioned, 45 and 120 are the stages with the fuel at 50%. So not a lot of gas in these tanks tonight, and River Hayes already feeling like he needs to come down pit road after buzzing the tires there with the slide.
Yeah, just make sure that everything is all good. Put some fuel in it. I mean, you're going to be at the back anyway. You might as well throw some fuel in it and just see if maybe you can have a shorter pit stop at the end of the first stage, cycle back up a little further ahead. You know, just got to try stuff at this point in time. Put yourself behind the 8 ball like that. These things happen.
Of note, Aaron Underhill and Gavin Hinson both lost laps trying to get going. Lucky dog. We do have one. That is the 21 to get him back on the lead lap after he came down pit road after the first pace lap and essentially sat in the pit stall for a bit, then got back going because he was further down in the order to get past the pit commitment cone by the time the leaders passed by. Gavin Hinson, meanwhile, only needs 4 more cautions to get back to the ball game because we mentioned the tech issue off the rip. That 39 is going to need a hope for a little bit of luck. He'll have to start at the tail.
Yeah, this reminds me a little bit of the Charlotte 600 with Hinson. That car was wrecked. He ended up having to spend many laps fixing it, came back on the racetrack, gained something like 3 laps in a bunch of spots just by other drivers having issues. So he's going to need that same sort of thing tonight. Although he is the only car a lap down, so it probably won't be as bad as it was at Charlotte. So a long race to go here, 225 laps on the board and only 7 in.
They are in the midst of the choose, by the way. You can see they've already chosen some of the lines. That's why they're doubled up a little bit. The reason to choose were it's the M in Richmond on the front straightaway today here. So you, in theory, have plenty of space with 3 lanes to work with, 3+ for the choose. That being said here, what do you think is going to be the better one to start off the race here, Morgan? Top or the bottom with it still being daytime?
I think off the rip here, it's dealer's choice. Probably the bottom. And that's simply because it isn't warm enough yet for that line to become less gripped up than the top. Though it's really going to be who gets the start. I mean, Kelly's going to be able to sail it off into turn number 1, roll the high side and get a great run off the corner. And that will get him the lead more than likely, unless Barnes has a phenomenal restart. Long run, though, I'm probably going to want the bottom for at least a while. And then eventually it's going to get too hot and move up the racetrack and search some lines and all that stuff. But yeah, bottom side for now.
And looks like they're almost set to get things going again with the lights on top of the pace car out. Kelly and Barnes on the front row. Paz versus Good. Burke versus Crowder amongst the first 6 or so in terms of lines outside to inside. Pace car off. Small restart zone here. We're backing away. Kelly doesn't even need to stay to the outside. He's got the inside if he wants it with Paz up to second.
They can go wherever he wants. Barnes does not have a great restart. He will take the bottom here and lose out on 3rd position to 3 wide behind him with Crowder on the bottom. Lewis in the middle. 54 of Kinzer up to the outside.
See Lewis pushing up a little bit. In fact, trying to make sure there's space. He nearly lost it. Big slide from the 8. He's lucky he didn't have any more of a micro
Jr.
slide.
Just shipped him into the corner.
Wow. No patience there for the 48 to let the 8 settle.
I haven't seen it yet this season. Don't know why we'd start tonight.
I mean, sometimes give or take can come into play, and that's one of the things where Marino says, I've got to go. Trying to battle with Crowder now.
Yeah, he is on the move. Up 14 already, by far the biggest mover of the day.
Obviously, he's going to be, he charged the corner pretty hard too. Look at him get to the quarter panel with a 44. This is going to force a side-by-side if he makes it stick? No. And that's the thing. In recent years, at times here at Richmond, we have seen drivers use the higher lines to advantages. We're seeing that with a couple of the battles too, where you can keep it side-by-side to defend here, like in the case of Burke.
Right.
But that yellow line still helping in the case of Kinzer down the back at the very least, it seems, to start.
And in theory, the harder the racetrack, the more grooves you have available to you. Because you're searching for grip everywhere. There's no line that's truly dominant. So if this racetrack stays warm like it is, about 86 degrees Fahrenheit, it's got room to go down. I imagine we'll see drivers up against the outside wall at times tonight. That a little further back. Remember, Kime on the bubble in the points right now. This is 16th on track.
And to be quite frank, Reggie Kime needs more than just a Reggie Kime day. Where he,
contact.
Well, that's not going to help.
No, it won't. Like a mixer. Little how do you do.
But what I was going
I think he's got 2 numbers on that car.
I think he does.
Nothing on the right side. But it's up against the wall, so who needs it?
What I was going to say, though, is Kime's keeping it easy. He needs to be up front. The big thing, he needs stage points to make sure he outscores that 44 and 48 in particular, because they're likely going to be up there all day. Kime needs to find something, especially a long run, to pick up spots.
At the very least, he has to be better than Zach White tonight. I think Luke Barnes actually just had a problem. Yes, there's the 04. What a move by Hinson to avoid. Oh, my goodness.
And it looks like we're under caution for the second time today. Luke Barnes, I think, may have just had the case of the wiggles, although Banky was a little bit lower down, you'll see in the 29.
Crosses over. Mixer in the 5. Up off the corner. Yeah, you got a little bit of help there from Banky. Then an almost saved him. Oh, dang, that's Collier. Got collected. Hinson just missed it.
You're not sure about that going back up the lanes like that, Morgan, in the case of Barnes, even with the lockup. That's a tough situation, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I definitely can't blame that on Barnes, though. Having driven this car before, once it gets pointed right, you're along for the ride. There's nothing you can do about it. So that's just a product of how much front weight you have to have at these racetracks in this car, that it just wants, as soon as you get it on the right front, it just pulls straight right, and you cannot bring it back. So meatball flag for Collier, that'll probably be the end of his day, and then Barnes on pit road for heavy damage repair as well.
So Barnes is out of the race car, can't confirm with that. Right. So, and to talk a bit about that again, because sometimes you don't realize it unless you're in the car. If you look at the microcosm of this machine, if you get into a lower power band, which in the case with Barnes, he was in 3rd gear rather than just 1st or 2nd, it almost is basically you're fighting that machine like a burnout almost. And that was kind of, I think, part of that you're talking about.
Yeah, buzzed the rear tires a little bit, and then once it got sideways, I mean, keeping this thing straight is one story, but once it gets out of shape, we've seen it in the real world, and we've seen it in the sim, where once this car gets out of shape, especially pointed right, it's around, it's gone. There's a lot of times you see drivers try and save this car. Marino did it last week, where he got it loose out of turn 1 in Indianapolis, and it all of a sudden snapped all the way back to the right and nosed into the fence, and it happens all the time. Even at slow speeds, actually, especially at slow speeds, like what we saw with the 04, it got out of shape, it got down on the right front, and it just hooked to the right, and there was no saving it. And unfortunately, Collier got collected in it.
Looks like Zachary King did make it back in the race, by the way. Downside, he's 16 laps down, so the situation for him has been settled, and they're choosing up at the front straight away. As you can see.
Yeah, Kelly back to the top. Not really a surprise. Good to the bottom, though.
It's been helping out Ricky Paz. He's been good on the fire off in the top with the time into Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, choose violation. 95. He is going to the back, the race leader.
No. Not the first time we've seen that this year either out of Kelly. Ricky Paz will inherit the lead. One more pace lap to go here.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting. I don't think he hit the letter, but curious if he just chose it too late, maybe, in terms of the... He didn't hit the letter, though. That's the big thing.
Let's see if we can catch it here really quick. Let me know if we're getting close to going back green, JP.
Well, we're at 1 to green. And right here.
That looks pretty good to me.
Middle seam.
There is no middle seam.
I think that was the copy-paste text. from race
There's
direction.
definitely only 2 seams here, and not one of them can be in the middle because there's only 2.
Right. And either way, that's big to put Ricky Paz on the front row. He's been solid, and we'll see how this goes with the control.
And this will be worthwhile to keep an eye on the 95 as he has to work from 29th position back up to the front.
Here we go. Paz versus Good on the front row. Back underway. And again, outside still gets the jump. This time with Burke trying to make a move for second.
It looks like he's going to get that spot as well. This is a good exit here. Oh, he got it easily. Well, contact with Good. Dixon moving him up out of the way.
So Good got the track position getting shuffled here, though. Marino Jr. is now up to 4th, though. That makes it 3 Chevys in a line, 2nd through 4th. Good. Feels like almost is just trying to make sure he stays out of trouble. Not going to force too many things here, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a long race. I mean, we know that. Racing to 45 here, so we're over 20 laps to go there. Michael Wade just had a big problem. Oh, they're wrecking behind him. The 47, apologies, is sideways below the apron up in the racetrack. Caution is out. David Moyer.
Back under. Yeah, he had just been the first caution of the day sent to the back for Shoes, and we'll explain this situation with that later in a moment, actually, because Moyer was amongst those in 3-1 again. Watch the 77. There was a slide already there.
Yeah, that was with Wade. Oh, and actually that's why the incident happened in the first place. Is Wade kind of cleared himself up after the slide into Zach White. That dominoed into the 47. Let's go with higher view here, maybe get a better shot of it. You see this white and blue car, that's the 05 of Michael Wade. Gets really loose right here, big slide, and then he just kind of clears back up the racetrack into White's door. Oh, so actually White just got spooked into the side of Moyer. And around goes Moyer.
And indeed, puts us under the caution. Now, just got the clarification from race control what they discussed in the meeting here. It sounds like this is from Brandon Willard. 3 different drivers have already been penalized tonight for running over the top seam. It is for that. So that would explain why we've seen the 95 go to the back and a couple others got booked. So
it's don't touch the seams. You got to be fully in the top lane, fully in the bottom lane. Understood.
That's what was explained in the driver's meeting and why there would have been a send to the back penalty in that situation.
There you go. We're learning.
And obviously, that means you have to be extremely decisive. Let's put it that way. You better make sure it's not by the dash marks. That's the thing. Look the seam difference.
Right.
You're having.
You're right.
That's about a half a foot to a foot difference, give or take, between the dash marks and the seam.
Yeah, 1.5 on the top, half foot on the bottom. You're right. Definitely could cause issues. I know you've already seen it a few times. The 95, 55, and 51 have all been dinged for a choose violation. My secret for choosing JP, when I was on the bottom, I usually go below the apron. It's just no question. We're gonna be touching the grass almost. How low we're gonna choose here to make sure we don't have an issue. Top side, that's a whole other story. You don't have very far to go. There's only the 1 lane to work with, but that's how I never violated the choose on the bottom, let me tell you.
If you violate from the bottom, it's a pretty hard task, to say the least. You just stay to the yellow line.
Right. So they're all over the seam. Look, they're giving lots of room.
That was a little bit close, actually.
It was
Skylar Dixon.
For Dixon, you're right.
But this is causing an absolute stack up, actually, with a couple drivers making sure they're good and then some.
Yeah. This is just a byproduct of the choose itself. I mean, when you give drivers a chance to make a decision, you have to slow down to make that decision, and it causes these stack ups through the back. Think of on the freeway when you're trying to merge, or someone is trying to merge in front of you, and also you have a stack up a mile long because people have to check up for that one maneuver. That's all this is. So.
Air violations, the 77, Zach White, who just got the penalty. Might actually, I should rather say, would have been the strike for the incident. So, with that in mind, we'll all reset and get ready for a restart once we get to start lap 30. We're already out of time in the stage. We're almost at 16 to go in the stage, believe it or not.
That's right. Pace laps count too.
Yeah, a lot of it's been under caution, surprisingly, though, Morgan, here tonight so far.
And working caution number 3 of the day. 2 lead changes.
And now, Ricky Paz, who's the latter of the leaders here in this grouping, looking to try and maintain it. Dixon looking for a good fire off. Is it lined up bumper to bumper, though, on that inside line? Just the 48 giving him a shot on the inside. Not even going to get the chance. It's an early restart, but Dixon timed up perfectly. Look at Dixon. Already to the door. There goes the 99 of Paz. Able to clear as he moves down for the race lead.
That's the power of the outside. You can really chop the center and get a good run off the corner and clear in the middle. That was the move he made there. And now Burke is going to have to fight back with Dixon for second.
That was the best restart from anybody on the inside here tonight. But Burke obviously going to try it all he might to keep this track position. Hits the wall again.
That's a lot of wall contact.
That might cause him an issue potentially with the steering wheel with the scrape like that.
Yeah, that was a bit more than a scrape. He definitely made some pretty solid contact with it. Marino Jr., that was more of a scrape with the 48.
That was a little bump, if anything, with the 48. But there is one line to search about. Remember the multiple lines talked about with the higher up the grooves kind of thing?
That's right.
Remember back in the day, eNASCAR a couple years ago used to run the wall with the eNASCAR qualifying series with the trucks. Crowder's up there. A couple others are searching up at the wall, too.
Yeah, there's grip to be found all over this racetrack. You just got to go find it. There's Crowder way up there.
I know I was surprised a couple years ago when it was the wall that came into play, though.
If it's going to be anything like Wednesday, we might see this 48 in that line. We might see that 48 wrap the yellow line all the way down the front stretch into turn 1. Saw both come into play, and both were fast also.
Crowder with that outside wall run, able to take it up to the top 5. Marino Jr. is pressurizing for second. There's a look at the 54. First Cup start here tonight. Christian Barnes next to him with the 54, wrapping the bottom still.
Atkins are putting on a good show so far. About 10 laps until we finish the first stage. Barnes has fallen back 5. Kinzer is +1 as they run at the moment.
And obviously, you want to be on your best behavior in theory to put it in the right thought process on a debut, especially since, looking at this year's stats, there has been 0 call-ins outside of Bollinger, who has 2 Ls, who have made starts this season. That 54, first overall MRL start, per the Sims Racer Hub. Crowder, meanwhile, already ripping his way to 4th, says thank you to Burke for giving him space.
Michael Daly maybe just had a bit of an issue. Yeah, that car's in through the grass. 52 for a wild ride.
I mean, it does have student driver stickers on it. He's learning.
Hey, that's what you got to do. Everyone's learning all the time. Hayes and Lewis, this is for 9th.
That was what I was about to say with the all seriousness. River Hayes sort of covered most of his spots here. Well, as much as you can when you're the leader. Right. You're running out of time, though, here on the stage. We're coming up to 7 to go.
And when this thing goes green, it moves pretty quickly as Dixon and Crowder. I was going to say had a fight, but Crowder took it away from him rather quickly. Now it's Crowder versus Marino for second.
Yep. Right now, once again, this is, again, exactly what happened with the trucks years ago when calling that action. Get the run off the corner because you carry so much momentum. Crowder, in this case, can go to the inside. Marino Jr.
Cleared
didn't
right
go
there.
up.
There it is.
Didn't go up to the wall either to try and counter that, but good send, and right to the bumper goes Marino Jr. with an apology.
Still a battle for 9th rages on. And in fact, they've caught a couple. Barnes and Kinzer, part of this little scrap as well for the final point in the stage. And
Hayes, I've noticed here, has good speed again, but It's been, again, turn 4 seems to be the issue with the weight transfer off the corner. Offset 3 wide for a moment. Right there, you see how it bobbles and weaves? You just can't seem to get it to grip up to actually make the pass finished.
It's right on board. See if we can find what you're talking about, JP. Yeah, a little bit loose on throttle off of 2 as well. Crowder has just taken lead over Paz.
Oh, there's actually battling side by side right now for the race lead. You're right, because the 99 trying the outside. He's taking Crowder's attempts up there and trying to counter the speed from the 44.
Well, he's got 2 more laps to hold on. Crowder off of 4. It's going to be a drag race down the front.
Pit road is closed. Now Crowder going to try that inside. Paz still running a little bit lower this time. Gets the exit. Again, gets clear. Does that see Crowder up top? Yes, it does. Now Crowder looks to build up the run. Coming to 1 to go in the stage. This time by 1 to go in stage 1. Crowder, another send up the inside. They're chatting mid-conversation, mid-battle, as they're side by side again.
So you know you're good at this when you can talk about it and do it at the same time. Paz on the outside. Crowder, one last gasp to the bottom. Off of turn number 4. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Paz got him.
Ricky Paz gets the edge at the stripe of the green-white checkered over Crowder, Marino Jr., Dixon, Burke, Good, Barnes. Kinzer, I believe, was ahead of Hayes, and Lewis. We'll see where things get scored in the pylon. Yes, Kinzer and Hayes will be the 8th and 9th place cars in your order at the time of the start and finish line after the conclusion of stage number 1. And off to a swift start, but already the 99, again, showing why he's been good whenever he's been able to make these races this season.
A lot of speed in that car. Started up in the top 5 and showed that he's got enough speed to stay there and even lead some laps, 26 of them off the rip here.
Here we go, everyone's coming down pit road. This should see just about everybody for service. There are a couple that are 20 laps into stints, but mostly everybody, this is their first stops essentially. Isaac Wilson, he stayed out?
Yeah, that's a it's a bit of a bold strategy, I think.
He topped off a couple laps into the race on the first caution, but why not come in and equal on the strat? He didn't have the track position, but this is going to be a big difference on old tires. Paz won the race off pit road, Marino Jr. and Crowder, by the way, but he and Joshua Gillen are the ones who rolled the dice. It's more understandable with the 10 because he pit about midway through the stage. Only a 20 lap difference.
Fact,
he's coming down anyway.
Right, yeah, there you go. So it's going to leave only Isaac Wilson on the racetrack staying out. This will be curious for sure to see how well the old tires will hang on. I wasn't checking lap times at the end of that stage to see what the fall off was. I would imagine for anything like the truck series, it's going to be 7 to 8 tenths.
So it's going to be interesting now with Isaac Wilson being the only person in the field to take a gamble here. It's worth noting he is Joshua Gillen's teammate here tonight. They're both in the Speed Demon camp here this evening. There is a bit of a different logo actually noticed on that machine with that now tonight. And obviously, we talk about sometimes your various teammates may come and go if their commitments change, Morgan. Wilson at this point, at least having some teammates to communicate and bounce off of as he tries to battle up at the top of the point standings in the top 3.
Yeah, Galen's been around for a lot of the season, which is nice to see from a team perspective. Always pitching in and doing his best to add team points to the ledger.
Yeah, remember it was Black Diamond that Wilson started off the season with, organization-wise.
That's right, and that's seen most of their drivers disappear. You know, Robertson was obviously part of that group, won in Daytona. Pollock raced Daytona. He was team owner. He never raced after that, if I'm not mistaken. Among others were part of that team as well. So the 93, the lone survivor from that team, if you will. He's going to bring it up pit road right now, in fact. Okay. That's interesting, because that'll give him... I mean, if he's going to beat the back anyway, I mean, that does actually make quite a bit of sense to do it that way.
Now, I'm curious how Race Control views that or scores that, because if this was an official race, that'd be entering a closed pit.
He got the black flag. He did.
Yes. And he did get the EOL, so that's going to be the call. So it's not going to be like you have to come under green, it looks like.
No. Just
in
tail
officials.
End. Yeah, because I'm under caution, just tail end. So that's good news for him. He's only really going to lose 3 positions on the racetrack versus pitting when everybody else did and then coming back to pit a second time. And you are able to get a little bit more fuel in the tank this way. So that's an interesting call.
With that in mind, that gets him a little bit further on the mileage, because here's the big thing. 120 is the stage lap here, Morgan.
That's
We're
right.
1 to green here. Remember, normally at a track like Richmond, you're talking 110 laps with a full tank. Cut that in half, maybe 55?
I got 50. I was told 58 to 62 was the range I got.
Which would take it to the top end of around 115, 120 in a full tank.
Right.
Okay.
So we're flirting with it. We're pretty close.
So, talking about if you add the laps, carry a few numbers, still going to be tight. Oh, and we're not going green. There's a stack up here. Aaron Underhill was up here somehow.
That's interesting. Maybe restarting like 6th.
Oh my goodness, he stopped after he came out of pit road, rejoined the field, tried to line up behind the leader, and that's why they threw the delayed green. And he just hit the wall again, trying to dodge cars to the back. Race Control is given a stern warning because of that situation, obviously.
Right, yeah, now we have to re-rack it again. Now fuel mileage looking really good for the 93.
Try this again. Race Control again. Did not like that. Do not do that. Ricky Paz, Anthony Marino Jr. off and away at the front. Paz already blocking the inside. Look at Crowder, though. He's already trying to set up his line. Dixon stays the inside.
Marino Jr. really threw it in there. Behind the 99, he's going to go for the lead here. To the bottom of the racetrack goes Marino Jr. And he will clear almost off the corner. He's going to get the lead regardless at the start finish line.
Side by side for a moment still, but the 48 now clear. Up to the front, Marino Jr. led about 15 laps last time he appeared in the series last week. You seen some smoke back there too, didn't you?
Somebody nailed the outside wall. I don't know who that was, but they hit it a ton.
Yeah, there was something going on in the pack. I believe, at the very least, might have been Elijah Maupin who scraped the wall. But everyone else is keeping 2x2 in the heart of this field.
I think it was Michael Wade who hit the wall further back. We'll see if we can catch that up later.
Oh,
we
and
have issues. Oh, it's the 21 and the 47 have had issues. No caution.
still green. Mixer got turned into the wall with contact with the 52 of Daly.
Oh, contact with the 27.
Well,
Christian Barnes is fading quickly. I don't know if that's just because he took 2 tires or no tires, but
no tires.
Yeah, 20. That was probably the wrong call for the 27. He's paying the price right now.
Only reason you do that, you expect to be a caution fest, Morgan. You want flexibility for when you come down later in stage 3.
That's part of it, and also just trying to see if it'll work. It's better to find out now at the beginning of stage 2 than it is to find out middle and end of stage 3 when you don't have any time to recover.
We'll say with that incident we were talking about that happened at the back of the field with drivers like Underhill and a couple of the others, Daly's off the racetrack from it. We're lucky not to be under caution, to say the least, and some of these drivers are still pushing the envelope. Lewis versus Burke, for example. Crowder's saving tires hard.
Yeah, kids are trying to roll the top. You will get the spot away from Crowder for the moment. Hayes right behind the 44, and Lewis trying to roll the top. Gain a few spots before things start to even out. Lewis got pretty tight off of 2, had to lift and not knock down the turn 2 wall.
So all of them still searching about, and the main thing for a lot of these drivers tonight is going to be long-term. Even at a track like Richmond, you want to keep the aerodynamics solid on the car. You can get away with it somewhat, but this car is very sensitive still to that wheel damage. Right now, drivers like Lewis keeping it clean, while Fiffner, right now, that Form Energy machine looking to form a run with Landon Kelly trying to make the pass again.
Yeah, Kelly's rebounded quite nicely. You're back up to the top 10 after the choose violation.
Yeah, able to pick up almost right back where he left off, similar to that in the way of Hayes. But we're seeing the difficulty on once you get around the 8th or 9th position tonight, it feels like. That's where if you're on the recovery for most competitors, it's been hard to make up more ground. Hayes has been stuck there. Kelly's now stuck here for a moment.
Zach White has gone around, yes, into the grass. Goes to 77.
Yeah, short tracks are not his best friend. He got tangled up with the 5 of Mixer. We're still green.
Battle for 17th at the moment. Ullman and Moppin.
And hearing lap machines are getting worn because the leaders are catching up to them, actually, including Zach White. Marino Jr. going to have to keep his eyes open here. 77, running his own line, but this is going to feed some dirty air to the race leaders.
Yeah, you just hope the 77 runs a consistent line, whatever it is, so that the leader can anticipate where to be. Doesn't look like that's the case, though.
Still a lot of conversation on the radio with race control from some of the drivers because of some of the contacts that did not bring out a yellow. But all you can say is just keep racing if it stays green. That's got to be the focus. You can't be that driver who says, oh, I think the caution will be out and loses 10 spots. Right now, this entire pace for the drivers, more importantly, is catching up to almost 1 second of fall off as we keep an eye on those battles towards the rear still.
That woman has dispatched Moppin, now going around Taylor.
Been a roller coaster for Taylor as of late, has it been, though, in his first few starts here.
Yeah, he's been a bit topsy-turvy, had speed at times, had some interesting incidents at times as well, but it's part of learning, right? Is just making mistakes and trying to get better through them.
Landon Kelly, amongst those watching and trying to get something with the lines with drivers like Dixon. You see Crowder.
Lights are on.
I think he's decided with the lights indeed on, it's time to go a little bit. The leader's now caught up with traffic. He's starting to push, and remember, Crowder's been one of the drivers at some tracks this season, not every track in the Cup Series, been able to find a few tenths of pace on the long run per lap.
Yeah, his whole game is just patience. Tonight, well, if we can get long runs here tonight, which we have so far, at least at the beginning of stage 2, will benefit him significantly versus drivers like Marino Jr., who clearly have short run speed, like more than enough short run speed. It's going to be the long run that's the question.
Now there's a major line difference here popping up as we see the battle for second. A lot of the drivers are staying above that yellow line or right about a lane and a half, in some cases above it. To get back to the 44's difference, I'm going to ask you this conversation. Why would he be trying to use the left side tires on the apron, which I don't think I've seen too many people ever do?
Rotation, one word. Having the left front on the apron like that, it de-wedges the car, and it makes the car want to spin a little bit. It makes it rotate the right rear more, and get you some more return without having to heat up the right front tire. Because right now, everyone is fighting right front tire, the pressure buildup, by having too much heat in it, by overdriving it. So by putting your left front on the apron and having, obviously, adequately slowing down, it helps you turn the car better, get the throttle a little quicker, and eventually bring your tire pressures down a little bit because they aren't getting so hot.
These He's the only one doing.
Or 14th, sorry.
I was about to say he's the only one doing it. It kind of showcases you need to be comfortable with that before you decide that. Barnes, he's only falling 9 seconds back. He's still falling off 4/10 lap right now, but it's not as bad as it could be because some are falling off harder than the leaders are.
Yeah, these tires have a bit of a cliff time, if you will, where you can only fall so far. And I think Barnes has found that spot. He can only fall so far. And it happens to be the same pace that Reggie Kime has fallen off to, so he's able to drive away a little bit from Kime. Where the drivers at the front of the field, they're going to really have to be careful because if they pushed hard and they have those really high tire pressure, really high tire heats, it's going to fall off a lot harder than Barnes did.
Race leaders still battling out for second. Dixon, phenomenal run. And right now, this is kind of the thing. If you are one of those making a part-time run, you want to try and execute the best you can. And right now, this 89 has been able to go up 9 since its qualifying effort and keep it up at the front since then.
Yeah, stout run for Dixon. Absolutely. As few drivers getting dispatched, that's Moyer, that's King. Staying way out of the way.
Instead, they wanted to stay up the top, and oh boy, that actually causes issues for second. I think Dixon tried to use them as a bit of a box attempt. Ricky Paz didn't like that, and Ricky Paz taking him 3 wide to try and clear. By the way, just received word from race control. The 5 was warned for aggressive driving. Mixer has since then peeled it down pit road.
Yeah, 4 laps down. I think repairing some damage potentially. Crowder now in the battle for second with Paz and Dixon.
Crowder trying to maximize points coming up to start lap 80. Dixon, I think, has seen that line and asking, how's this working? And goes back into the battle behind the 44. Next up, Crowder. Looking to back up those corners. It's a big contrast to when he tried the top here on stage 1. I almost wonder if that's partly, of course, with the more lanes opening up, or Crowder just trying to show the multiple lanes so we have a good evidence of what you can do.
Actually, that's a good point. We talked about earlier, you asked me a question about if I want the bottom or top on the restart, and I mentioned the heat in the line itself. You mentioned as well, look where Paz is. Caution's out. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. It's right in front of these guys, actually. Taylor, part of it. Michael Wade, I believe, in it as well.
They were definitely together. It was 19th they had contact with. Watch Wade as that
Hinson.
car.
Hinson didn't help either.
Definitely not. And then
I think that's just a disagreement in which line is best, is in the middle of the corner is all that was. I don't believe that was intentional. That's just Taylor trying to chop the exit and Wade trying to roll the entire corner, maybe charge the entry a little bit. So either way, they make contact and they spin. But back to Crowder for a second. I think why he was doing that was, you mentioned that Paz and everyone else are running about a lane, maybe half a lane off the bottom. That should mean that that very bottom part of the racetrack where nobody is would be the coldest because everyone else is running the rest of the racetrack. If you're able to maximize that part of the racetrack, keep those tires a degree or 2 colder, therefore keeping the air pressures down, you might have something there.
everyone except for a couple came down pit road here. This, believe, will get everyone to the end on gas in the stage.
Yeah, easily.
Yes. The only drivers that said, you know what, I don't like that decision.
There's a lot
Kinzer, Ullman, Kime, Maupin, Gillen should be potentially coming down. He usually comes out the second time. Billings and Wilson, along with Chad Allen, stayed out. Allen, though, was behind everybody and is coming down to the second wave.
Ullman's on pit road now, so is Kime, so is Gillen. So Kinzer will be your leader after it's all said and done.
Elijah Maupin in second, too.
Got to try something, right?
Michael Wade just got the cause for the caution, by the way. EOL penalty for the 05 as a result of the incident. As we continue to sprint our way through tonight's race here at Richmond. Obviously, we'll see a bit of fade away here, but we did have a couple fuel onlys from drivers like Fiffner and River Hayes, and a 2-tire call from Landon Kelly.
And Dixon.
Indeed. So a few of these drivers, I think, might be saying, you know what? The lefts aren't wearing bad. Let's put them rights.
It's hard to tell, actually, the 2-tire versus 4-tire now, since they dropped the speed of the speed of the pit stop for 4 tires down to about 10 seconds. I usually see 9 seconds and instantly go 2 tires, but that's not really the case anymore.
Yeah, so the rough guesstimates here is 6 for fuel, 8 for 2, 10 for 4. At least that seems to be the baseline, I think, if you want to look at something from the outside. But that kind of shows how quick the pit stops are with the signal lug nut, and have been for a few years in the Cup Series, where they've gone sub 8 seconds or 9 seconds on 4 tires.
Yeah, regardless, I mean, it's a lot tighter spread than it was, where it was 14 for a normal stop, roughly 10 for 2 tires, and then anything less than 10 you knew was going to be fuel only. There's about 5 seconds. So interesting now that with the 1 lug versus the 5, how all the times have just gotten closer together.
Taylor and Allen will also go to the tail end with EOL penalties, it looks like here. But the big thing about that is, in terms of the tightness of the pit stops now, is if you take a 2-tire call, you're not going to gain 10, 20 spots in some cases. You're only going to gain maybe 5.
And then you have to fight that potentially ill-handling car or less grip or whatever the case is for only 5 spots. That is absolutely a different call to make now, and probably isn't going to reward you as much as it did even 3 months ago.
Still, though, Kinzer versus Maupin on the front row. Well, the old tires fare out. Looks like we're off and away with no major issues. Although Marino Jr. wants to attack already to the outside, already looking 3 wide for a moment. Behind him, drivers like the 14 of Billings did stay out. He's being taken 3 wide as they all get around and try and make some passes.
Oh, they're 4 wide. Billings got shoved out of the way by Dixon. Hangs on to it. Really good job by Billings to not go around there.
Still stacking up, race lead. Marino Jr. just took it away from the Kinzer. Meanwhile, Paz the second through, third through is Dixon. Landon Kelly's got most of the track position back. He's now trying to pass the tight 66.
Yeah, Maupin is really having issues. So is Kinzer on the old tires. 3 wide split by Dixon. There goes Paz to the bottom. Now 54 is falling back precipitously into the clutches of Kelly.
Good zip by. Crowder taking his time, pushes back on the corner entries with all the chaos. Dixon took over second. Kinzer continuing to bleed spots.
Oh, good sliding.
Losing it.
Did he save it? Yes. What a save for good.
Wesley Burke. Amatso's trying to hold on to it too. Dustin Lewis on the outside of him. Passes by. Maupin loses ground with Good getting boxed in. Barnes passes them all.
Yeah, Barnes finally back on the fresher tires. Learned his lesson the first time around, now watching the 66 learn the same lesson.
And remember, River Hayes is also on that same lesson here too. He nearly got squeezed up with the contact, Burke to the wall. The 81's not falling off as drastically as some of the others, but you can tell that difference when you really look at the corner apex.
He has lost spots on this run, no question. He's just hanging on right now, only a few laps to the stage, about 30 of them.
Yep. You're just going to try and see where things go with the tire sits later. It's getting chippy a bit on this racetrack with Barnes amongst those again on the push. Looking for some sends with Kinzer. Already running middle. There's the 27 to the bumper. And Dustin Lewis says, thank you for the spots. I'll just take them on the outside.
I think Kinzer got nervous. Oh, Kinzer's going to get a little bit of help there from Barnes. Barnes is the apron, but not maybe the way he wanted to. Going to lose a little bit of time here. Fall back to Ullman in 12th. And
remember the big thing here, Morgan? The more the run goes, the more you back up your corners, and we're seeing a couple of those on older tires really having to back up their corners to make sure they don't burn up their tires and just overheat them. And
damage is done for the guys who stayed out, though. Other than maybe Hayes. Even Hayes has fallen back to 14th. I mean, I just don't think that's going to be the right call going forward. They are significantly off the pace right now.
Coming up to 130 to go. There's the 23 amongst those going forward. Jesse Boston, we haven't mentioned that name tonight. Another name we haven't seen really much of, if at all, in the Cup Series, that MCX machine. It's been keeping quiet, has been running +7 now on the evening in that car.
A pretty solid, quiet day, which is exactly what you want in a short track. You're up in the top 10 and you're having a quiet day. It means you're not hitting anything and not making us go, ooh, ah. And that's usually a good sign.
Now, he actually has only one other start in Mystic competition in the ARCA series at Slaner. Ran top 5 there. He's one of those that, if you look at the sim racing past, actually hasn't run too much. So one of those just saying, you know what? I want to join a series. I'm getting up there in the iRacing ranks. It's time to go from officials to league racing.
There you go. That's the normal transition of things. You find a group of drivers that you run around and continually run around them. Battle for 4th. Crowder and Kelly.
And again, it's about that time in the run. About 16, 20 laps is usually where Crowder starts to make some attacking inroads. And look at the difference again. This time outside. Make sure the position's clear by getting that run to separate and go from there. And it looks like Crowder's alternating now with more drivers using the bottom this run than the top. So a bit of a switch again on this run.
I think he's just chasing wherever track's coldest. That's really what it seems like, as we got Lewis and Good still fighting further back. I think it's Wilson and Kime for 13th. Remember, Wilson had the penalty, went all the way to the back under that pit stop for pitting too late. Just now up to the top 15 is Paz and Dixon, with Crowder right behind them.
A little bit of a wall scrape there. Dixon off to the inside. Under 20 to go in the stage now. Here from Richmond, the action track. Crowder trying to set up a pass on one or both of them. Wait for the run to be built up. There it goes for the 44 to the outside, and here we pushed up at the wall, actually trying to set up this one.
And look at how much speed he has. Unfortunately, he got kind of boxed in by Dixon. Potentially had a shot to go down to the bottom and clear them both, but if he can get another good run here, might be able to go to the bottom in 3. Black flag for Dave Billings. Hit road incident.
So obviously it was one of the drivers shuffled towards the back from the pit strategy. He's still sitting in the pit box. Might be taking full service once the
King's
penalty.
in the way.
No!
That hurt Dixon quite a bit on the exit. Crowder couldn't run his line either. Now Dixon going to block Crowder.
Up the track goes Chad Allen also. But you are right, it's going to make it a slalom course action with the traffic trying to run the high side, which is what most of the field's preference is. There's the switch again. Crowder to the inside. Now they move to the outside, and 44 up to top 3 positioning now with that.
Has gotten around Dixon. Now back up to the high side. You see Zach White in front of him, trying to get to Paz before Paz can get to White. Michael Wade's on pit road. Drivers who didn't stop having to pit here.
Or involved in previous incidents. That being said, Crowder has to hit the e-brake. 77 ran the line, and oh my goodness, that was almost like he did a rocket boost.
Now 44 got off that corner exceptionally well. Another shot at Paz. Here's what it looks like from the back bumper. You can almost cue the Jaws music. In fact, he got so deep in the corner, he's going to be even on the exit.
I almost think the top's been better than the bottom here. This time, Paz feeds dirty air to the 44 of Crowder. Gets the diamond lined off, though, to get the exit. Yet again, it seems as though Crowder already knows that inside's just not been working off the corner once you get someone that knows how to defend it. Paz has adapted.
Yeah, that's what you have to do during a race, is maybe the line you had in mind at the start isn't going to be the one that works out later, although Paz might get trapped behind. He did get trapped behind Moyer, 3 wide. The lap car on the top. Now Crowder back down to using the apron to turn into the corner, and Crowder will clear off of turn 4.
I don't think they appreciated that. Maupin is pitting, you just said on the radio, and so is Kinzer. Those are the drivers who stayed up at the front of the field. They have to come down with coming to 10 to go next time.
I should see White and Moyer on pit road pretty quickly as well. As Marino Jr. trying to put, that's McCoy Benke a lap down.
The Ideal Racing paints believe here, able to make the pass. So that leaves us currently with about 17 on the lead lap. Next up is Fiftner in the order. Then Chris Taylor is about a lap or so down already. So Marino Jr., remember, we talked about him leading laps the Brickyard, then had that big incident early on. Now looking to make up for that huge point loss where he could have been one of those in the conversation above to one of those who lost ground we talked about at the top of the show. This 48 needed a run like this tonight, and he's doing a good job in the traffic.
He had it going last week. I think that's a really frustrating part, is he was in the catbird seat, but don't look now. That 44 caught up in a hurry. The gap was 1.3 seconds 2 laps ago. It's now down to 0.3.
That was the next point I was about to make, because got within 0.4 before the traffic. A little bit more spread out by a couple hundredths now with it. But now that 44 might have an issue with the corner off the 20. There has to use the diamond line, gets him to the inside. Loses the 10th from that situation, coming up to 6 laps to go, as this allows him to use the bottom again.
This is the back bumper of Marino Jr. Oh, got loose off the corner into the wall a little bit. High side for Crowder. This is exactly what he wanted to see.
There's the run, looking to slide forward. Marino Jr. slid his rears. Taylor hit the wall in the background. Crowder again, this time dragging the wall, slowed his momentum.
Tried to get a little bit higher than the 48, who was trying to block the arrow. 5 to go.
Zach Whiteray came down pit road for that service. Guess where he's coming out? Right with the leaders.
Marino Jr. nailed it.
Hit the wall again. Narrow bit of contact. And now the 77 going to be right in front of him to feed dirty air. Crowder passes by. White hits the brakes. They let it zip on by as Crowder now looks to go higher than the 48.
That was a good move for White. I mean, he was going to impede this battle. He's going to almost spin behind him into the inside wall.
Cold tires. That's all you can say on that one. Landon Kelly side by side with Dixon as they pass Fiftner. But Crowder's got the inside for the race lead. Another close battle for a stage win. Crowder on the send. Marino Jr.'s got Kane on the outside. Worst possible timing for him. They both get around him. Marino Jr. trying to go deeper on the entry, but Crowder's better on the apex. He's got the lead.
Crossover on the way. Marino's going to get to the quarter panel. Gives Crowder the high side.
Is that what Crowder wanted, though? Marino Jr. looks tight entry, loose exit a bit here. Crowder's got it done with less than a lap and a half to go.
That is how you chase somebody down in 10 laps and take a spot. My goodness, what a master class.
That's why with the stage 3, it's going to be something to watch for the 44 run. The final lap of the stage, Crowder with a big advantage now up at front of the field. Dixon amongst those trying to battle with Burke, who's been able to rip away at top 5. But the green-white checkered flag is coming up after an intense battle in stage 1. Crowder able to run away for stage 2 in the final few laps. Gets it over Marino. Ricky Paz in the top 3. Kelly, Burke, Dixon, Barnes, Lewis, Good, and Boston. inside the top 10 as the caution is thrown. So 2 fast drivers picking up 2 green-white checkered flags to add to their stage wins. And already, seen a pretty clean stage number 2, Morgan.
Yeah, that one went quite well for drivers, I think. Just starting to figure out where to put the car to make speed, where to put the car to be safe. Haven't seen many issues off turn 4 like we did earlier in the race. Just a nice, solid stage.
And as they catch with the pace car, they should see pit stops. Oh, and a bit of stack up there as they got to the cone.
Right into the back bumper of the 44. No damage, though.
I was going to say they're carrying a good amount of speed to make sure they got to the pit road and the pace car. And now they should see everybody, in theory, come down. Fiffner is your lucky dog this caution period as they all make their stops and get their fresh Goodyear Eagles on them. Oh, we have a couple strategy calls. Dixon just took 2 tires. Race off pit road. Crowder inside the 48 took it.
Got him. Oh, man. Kime stayed out. So did Gillen. Oh, Kime coming down this time. Just on that 1 lap lead.
Ricky Paz speeding.
Oh,
will go to the back.
Not a great time for that. No more scheduled yellows. Got 100 laps to make it up.
And 1 stop, in theory, to go there. Ricky Paz gets the EOL to get the double confirmation from race control with that assurance. And now, Joshua Gillen did not come down the second wave, though, this time.
Still has one more opportunity to, when they're coming to the choose. He has the opportunity to pit right here.
Which, as we talked about with the EOL.
Right, which, again, doesn't it hurts more now than it did before, because instead of restarting in 17th, he'd restart effectively in 30th, having to pass all of the lap down cars as well.
And there he goes. Nearly grip rolled, actually, trying to turn it so hard to left.
He put a lot of wheel into that car. But not choosing here, it seems. Black flag for Hinson for pitting. Not sure what. Maybe speeding for the 39 potentially.
He is asking clear to the black, and he got the clearance. He is still 2 laps down, by the way. So he didn't get the precautions that he needed to really get in the conversation.
He was the first 2 laps down. Has gained a pile of spots, though. Was 33rd and is now 22nd.
With his points position, though, it's not a disastrous one with a couple races to go. If anything, he's one of those in the safe zone.
I think he's 12, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd say 12 different drivers are in that safe zone, above 100-plus point separation of the cut line. Fiffner, Robertson, White, and Kime were the ones in yellow. If you follow the Sim Racer Hub data for the points coming into tonight, Crowder, Baum, and Marino Jr. were the only drivers below the cut who had a realistic shot.
Right, yeah, Hinson is 4th. He's well good. No question about making or missing the chase. He's going to be in it. It's now just, as you mentioned, Fiffner, Robertson, White, Kime, Crowder, Marino Jr. are the drivers who we're looking at to see who's going to get in, who's not going to get in. But tonight is a pretty good indication that the 2 drivers below the cut line will find themselves above the cut line should they execute the rest of the way.
Keep in mind,
next week.
But to say the last time we've seen Robertson, though, that's going to be an interesting one in how that position goes.
True.
Yes, I believe it was Pocono.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a number of weeks since we've seen the 17, driver of the 17, I should say. Saw the car a couple weeks ago, of course, piloted by Sean Conklin.
And obviously been allowing the opportunity for super subs, but we still have what's going to be 98 to go with them already won the green. Crowder, Dixon, Murillo Jr., Kelly, Burke, Barnes, and the top spots. We're already past halfway and then some in this race. So now becomes the question, how does the 3rd stage go? Do we see attrition? Do we see physicality? Or do we see long run speed come into play? Let's find out with the pace car already off. Slim Chickens Cup Series action here on VSPEED, and Dixon went first.
Yeah, that's not legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Crowder waited at the end of the zone for sure, but I mean, Dixon jumped that. Oh, and there goes Burke around. 82.
Gonna bring a caution out though, and that's unfortunate for Burke. Was up at the front, keeping it out of trouble. 30 wide for some of the drivers, and we have a crash of the line. It's Isaac Wilson in the wall with River Hayes. They're both collected.
Zach King as well involved.
I believe that was in the checkup actually, because he nearly spun it actually. But
there's the 82. I think the 8 got a part of that also. There's 3 wide. Hayes on the top. Wilson. I think Wilson maybe got low. It was Dustin Lewis got loose. Wilson tried to avoid it. Hayes didn't realize it. Went to the high side naturally and ended up being a part of it. Zach White also involved in this little melee back here.
And there's a lot of discussion on the radio involving what happened on the restart there. As here we see it again.
Yeah, this
77.
is the opposite of what happened on Wednesday. And I'm curious, yeah, there goes King. And White had all day and still managed to drive into him. Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Landon Kelly's the leader in all this.
Yeah, he got a great start.
But here's the thing. He was the one behind Dixon with the jump from the Dixon machine.
Right.
So now how does this go? Obviously, he's not the one who went for the launch, and in that case, they weren't even bumper to bumper on that outside line.
Yeah, this is a pivotal moment in this race, an inflection point, if you will, that will determine the outcome of this race entirely. Is this call race control has to make? Did the 89 jump, or was the 44 past the line when the 89 went, meaning that it was just a restart out of the box and anyone could go? That's the question. Because the leader doesn't have to be the first to the line, but the leader does have to fire first. That's the rule. The only way second place can get to the line first is if the leader launches, spins the tires, or something thereof, and is unable to get to the line first.
And as expected, Dixon Pelony for that restart.
That does, I think that's the right call. From at least from the view we saw the first time, that seems to be the right call there for the 89.
And there's a lot of conversation still as things get sorted out here. It's turned into an interesting start of stage 3. It's been a lot of conversation bubbles, let's put it that way, on the radio.
I mean, it was a pretty hectic stage 1, quite a calm stage 2, and then a talkative stage 3. I mean, that's, what more can you ask for, really?
Yeah, gonna need some context on things, potentially with conversation with drivers after the race, because there's been a lot of it about the restart, about back bumpers, about everything going on. Boston got a shoes violation. He's going to the back.
I hate that for the 23. Was running up in the top 10 for most of the day. Run out of laps here, under 100.
So we'll get one to green this time. And now, who's going to get a good bit of fire off here? Let's find out. Marino Jr. is going to already be in an interesting spot here in the 48.
I don't know where the car on the outside is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be the 27? If so, he is hanging back a full lane. Caution back out.
A little bit of confusion there, I think, for some of the drivers, because River Hayes is still zipping its way to the line. So they'll try this again.
And there is the River Hayes car back down pit road after the damage.
Is that going to happen again if he's having to catch the field with an air top off?
Probably.
Burke to the tail. Burke to the tail because he was not. He was asking if there were lap cars behind, and he'll go to the back.
Okay. Odd.
5 to the tail as well. There's a lot of people trying to get things sorted where they're supposed to be sorted here.
Gotcha.
90 to go still. And River Hayes is just now leaving the pit stall. Is going to need a lot of help to catch up the field, let's put it that way. Now we're backing our way. Landon Kelly gets a great start.
That was a pretty early one compared to the last time. I think that was okay, though, considering where the restart zone is in the middle of the corner. But, yeah, great jump for Kelly.
Yes, there was no instant penalty from what I can tell from that, but Crowder immediately looking for the lead.
He's got a lot of speed in that 44 here tonight. Drag race off the corner. Kelly on the top, Crowder on the bottom.
Caution.
Caution is out. It's Pfiffner as a round out of 4.
Running 16th. Well, we talked about going to the apron on entry, Morgan. How do you like it on exit?
Not a lot. Unless you're really, really tight. Which I don't think is the case here. Oh, we got some help. Yeah. Oh, good job, Benke. Missing him. All right, we got a whole laundry list of penalties to sort out here.
Yes, and this is all from the last caution that just got the clarification.
So we'll start off with Dixon.
He got the jump start, we know that. So Boston's was not a choose, it was an advancing position before the line penalty. The 5 was impeding a choose. That'll be Mixer, why he was to the back, sorting out that. And then you also had the 82 of Burke. He made a pass after the choose with the lap cars.
Gotcha. They can't do that.
And a lot of those names just came down and said, you know what, let's get some extra fuel in the tank just to go further.
When life gives you lemons, you make a pit stop.
And if you're out of lemons, you take a pit stop and get more lemons.
That's right. The answer is always more lemons, JP.
And if the track is out of lemons, just Uber them.
Uber lemons, yes. Yes, Uber lemons. DoorDash. Skip the dish if you're in Canada. Just get more lemons.
That's Grubhub in the States, by the way, I believe.
There you go. How about Clayton Good hanging out in the top 6? Been a nice quiet night for the 91. He has had a very good season, I would say. Hasn't made a lot of headlines, good or bad. Just has quietly and consistently been maybe just outside the top 5, back half of the top 5, but this 91 has been pretty stout all year.
Yeah, I think this machine is definitely building some confidence, I think, because we've seen at the start of the year went a little bit quiet for a bit. There's a reason Good's top 10 in points. He's been, in recent weeks, starting to rack up more of those top 10s, especially, it feels like, at least on the eyeball test. If you look statistically for that Rogue Wolf machine, yeah, he's been able to pick up some back-to-back-to-back good runs.
Yeah, tonight looking like it could be another Clayton Good here. Reggie Kime up in the top 7. We were talking about points earlier, how he needs a good run. Well, he's going to pass Zach White tonight. There's really no question about that. Zach White having a miserable evening back in 24th. If Kime can continue to run in the top 15, it's likely that White will be out of the playoffs, rather than Chase, apologies. Crowder would be in, and Kime would also be in for the moment. Try to bring that up one more time here. But it is such an important point in the season. That's only 11 between White and Kime. Right now, Kime has that edge with the running position.
And Kime hasn't been one of those picking up the stage points importantly over the course of the night. So it's a little bit more touch and go by the time we get to Daytona, which is a good track for Kime. He's good at super speedways.
Yeah, he has been quite successful in super speedways in the past. that is really the biggest wild card event of the season, because we have a bunch of guys going for spots that all it takes is one other person's mistake to ruin your chance. Your season-long hunt at the chase berth could all be gone and up in smoke in one incident.
Here we go. Restart time. Kelly versus Crowder on the front row. Green, back underway. Look at Marino Jr., who chose the outside. Got a decent launch there against the 44. But Crowder again on the inside, clears on by, and look at Lewis trying to battle it out too.
And the 8 went from a slide not too long ago up into the top 5.
Here comes some side-by-side. Not a great run per se for both the front leaders. Marino Jr. boxed in, will take the third line, side-by-side for the point. Kelly squeezing Crowder, trying to force him to slow up. Crowder still got a better run, and Marino Jr. thinks 3 wide.
3 wide, he might send it in. No, he thought better of it. Crowder's going to get away from this clean. Marino Jr. clipped the apron on the exit, keeps that thing pointed straight now. Good to the bottom for second.
Look at that, send all the way to the bottom into Marino Jr. Apologies on the radio again.
Big loose moment.
Marino Jr. nearly spun it.
Great
held
save.
on to it. And you cannot afford any mistakes for the 48 right now. Nothing.
Nothing. No, he has to finish this one out. It's got to be a top 5, top 10 run, or else this race essentially is for naught in a points situation.
Rio Jr. holding on to second. Crowder now with a race lead. Kelly bounced off Lewis. Lewis held on to it in the background. Everybody bouncing off everybody, stacking up on the inside. Remember, Zach Davidson's in this race, by the way.
That's right.
He's now being passed by Dixon.
Well, Reggie Kime's still hanging out here in the top 10. A little Kime time for you in the 9. Crowder, Marino Jr. battle for the lead here. Marino Jr. really wants this lead back.
And he just slammed the door, but Crowder says no thank you. Back to the inside.
He did lead the lap, but won't lead into one. Another crossover on the way.
Here we go again. Another squeeze. Intense race up at the front. Both of these drivers, most of the field, been good on the short to mid run. Marino Jr. trying to keep the clean air, force the 44 to burn up its stuff here.
That's a tall task to inveigle the 44 into burning up his stuff. That's just not something that happens very often.
And as this all goes on, remember you have drivers like Kinzer now back in the top 10. You've got others that have been able to skyrocket themselves forward. We talked already about many of them. Crowder again, race lead. More importantly, get the nose ahead. Can he get the full car ahead?
Oh, this is so tight. Crowder clears again. Marino Jr. back to the bottom again. It's like a carbon copy of a few laps ago. 75 to go from Richmond. At least one more pit stop.
Already about 30 laps plus coming up on the fuel, including the caution periods. Another slide, another cross up, another send. Again, it's Marino Jr. on the inside. And both of them are running away from everybody while they battle, by the way. This time, Crowder trying to cover off the inside for the entry. Marino Jr. still there.
I think he just wanted to try something different. And by showing Marino Jr. something different, Marino had to think a little bit. Gave Crowder a little bit of breathing room into one. There, that might be what Crowder needed. Now ahead by a quarter second. Oh, Marino Jr. right up to the back bumper into the outside wall.
More contact up at the wall.
He got it a ton off of 4.
I'd be surprised with all those types of hits if Marino Jr. doesn't at least have a little bit of damage.
Right. That car is still wobbling up off the corner as well. He is driving for all it's worth.
Yeah, and again, I think this is about the point of the run where Crowder is looking to say, let's put on the eNASCAR shoes That's what kind of was referred to earlier. We see just how good things can get for some of the drivers short to mid run here tonight. But Crowder, long run's been the best driver once we get about 20, 30 laps into the tires here. That being said, Kelly versus Lewis and Dixon is an air good battle to watch for, by the way. They've also been caught up by Kinzer. Here, Dave Billings, issue, front straight away. Caution is out. And it's not because of Billings.
It's the 93. Holy cow.
Billings nearly became a part of it,
That
just
was-
not the way he wanted to be.
That was wild.
Wilson
Wow.
and Taylor was the caution.
Isaac Wilson not having the best night. Damage on the front from contact with Hayes, and it just hasn't gone well since then. Loose off the corner, contact with the 20. And then here comes Billings. Whoop.
He was the one who called it out on the radio. That's why I was wondering, was it him? I think he's seen the spin, got race control to make sure that was where the caution was, and then he nearly piled into it.
Yeah, he got close. You'll see it here. Red and white car on the bottom. He did not make that corner. There's the accident right there. Probably called it out about there. He did a good job slowing down for it, but yeah, Wilson rolled a little bit. Great work by Billings to not pile into him. That could have been a 3-car accident instead of a 2-car accident.
Fiftner, multiple-time lucky dog amongst those who pit. Good. Lewis and Dixon stay out.
Yeah, I don't love that call. I mean, you're tight on fuel here if you pit, don't get me wrong, but you're not making it on fuel if you stayed out. I don't really understand that call here, especially with how big the tire fall off is.
My thought is you're hoping for caution after 20, 30 laps, and then you pit for fuel, maybe?
Right, but you got to fight to the field.
Exactly.
I just don't like it. I mean, there's so many cars in the lead lap. We have 18 still in the lead lap with Fiftner getting his 100th lucky dog tonight. Yeah, I don't love the call of staying out here. If you need points, you need to lead a lap, fine, sure. But other than that, I don't like it for these top 3.
Oh boy, is all you can say to that.
Oh boy is right. Because you got to remember, too, the top 2 36-lap old tires, and then the drivers behind them, Dixon, the 20-lap old tires, everyone else just pit, so they're going to be 2 cars, 3 cars really. They're going to be well slow on fire off also.
Choose this time. You can see them all getting to their respective seams. And good. Chose the outside, Lewis the inside. Davidson just outside the top 10 now. Then you have Joshua Gillen, who is surviving. Looking to have some fun. He is, again, very active during the cautions to make sure he's chatting with the fans, to say the very least.
Gotta love that. I really do like it in the Beavis and Butthead car. You don't see that very often roll out of the shop. Got to give him big props for that one. A nice unique paint scheme here versus a lot of corporate schemes that we see that are Monster schemes or Coke or whatever the case is. It's nice to see a something different.
And that being said, as they all set themselves up, Billings is now officially out of the race. That currently sees us with 26 still running here late in the going. Under 65 laps to go this time. First on the tires. Paz didn't take any, actually, Morgan. I think.
That doesn't look like it. Moreno Jr. will be the first car on tires.
That's interesting. 2 tires, should say. He did take rights.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's better, but that's still going to be interesting long run for Paz.
And I'm curious on the fire off, because remember, this car seems to be pretty twitchy and edgy on the fire off. 2 tires, depending which side you put them on, will make that either much better or much worse.
Here we go, green. Lewis didn't have a great start. Outside did get a good start, though. Paz says, I need to go. And now Dixon moves the outside, 2 by 2 to the corner.
And Lewis slipped a little bit. He is falling back in a hurry already. That 8 is not in a good spot, but Dixon had a look at good.
Caution.
Caution's out. I think Maupin was
Hinson.
in it. Hinson and Maupin.
And the answer is, it wasn't mopping, but he sure had a good viewpoint because it landed in his lap.
He got part of it. That thing's killed. He may not have started it, but he ended it.
Yup. And just watch this.
Oh, Banky. Oh, man. We have a different shot here. Yeah, 29 just got loose, and same thing that happened to River Hayes on the very beginning of the race. Got loose, got steered back to the right, and just couldn't bring it back into the wall. Contact with Mixer. I think Wade got a piece of it. Hayes actually just missed this. He's the first car in front of it. Oh yeah, and Moppin, that thing is done. You heard it blow up.
Yeah, not much some of the drivers could do there after that stack up. Hayes amongst those who has to get some repairs done actually to the front splitter. So there's a few that will get repairs, Hinson as well. And obviously that wasn't the long enough run that I think these drivers taking the gamble to cut through the field late.
No.
We're hoping for, but they stay out. Where'd you come in?
Yeah, definitely not what they wanted. They wanted that to go green a little bit longer. Probably another at least 10 laps, I think, makes you think about it. But yeah, only 7 laps on this run, and mostly done for caution. Not worth trying to flip it right now.
Meanwhile, Clayton wants to be the pace car. Just having fun with it. Just a little bit bored, I guess you could say, while pacing, but hey.
It's the only car you can hit and not get a penalty for it.
I've always petitioned to make that thing solid.
Yeah. Yeah, if it had collision... Well, I mean, the problem is, though, remember, think about like a mile and a half if you have a caution in 1 and 2. And feel that's to slow down. All of a sudden, you get this car that just races through. You feel like you're going to get absolutely knocked into the fence. Somebody did scrape the wall. I think it was Paz. And it's just a pace car. So if it had collision physics, you'd be in trouble getting knocked out by the pace car.
I'm just having a good laugh thinking about that thought process where it's not funny when it happens to you. But
Yeah.
in the context of it, imagine the screaming horror of 20 different drivers that get sent to the moon about
Right.
20 to 1,000 feet above the track by a pace car going 150 down the back straightaway. But
Be fun for us, commentators. Real headache for race control.
it's happened with people with connection issues.
Right, I've definitely seen that before. You know what they could do, JP? They could do the Choose Beetle. You ever seen that one?
I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people just ran on top of the seam with the lights out here, didn't they? And race control went to P. Oh boy.
Terrific. Terrific. I think we're chosen, though, are we not? I thought we chose last time. I think we're okay.
Let's see. I wanted to make sure because they were doubled up. You're right.
Yeah, I think
You're
we're
right.
okay. I think we're okay.
I think they went without the extension. They went a lap early, actually. So they didn't actually extend the caution. That's where the confusion came into play here.
Gotcha. Well, pace cars in either way.
Caution after this, and you're likely going to be able to make it on fuel. We're back underway. Good off and away on the fire off, and here comes 3 wide. And contact! Dixon.
What a save. Oh my goodness. There's the there's more contact.
Oh boy. Dixon's not happy on the radio, let's put it that way.
Oh, I bet not.
Would you believe there's no damage on that car? Oh, they're wrecking up in the front. Marino Jr.'s in it. Caution is out on the speedway.
Oh, Paz and Marino Jr.
Oh my.
Well, let's go back a little further. We can watch the incident with Dixon as well.
What did we say for
restart?
What did we say for some of these drivers? They couldn't afford bad nights. Well,
there they are.
and was there contact from the 48? No, again, he just
No,
sent
it
it
was-
deeper than good.
Yeah, I don't good. Took a pretty not shallow, pretty easy entry. I thought that the 82 was going to get turned up across the racetrack, but here's the caution. Paz on the top, Marino Jr. on the bottom. Paz get loose. Yep. Contact. They both go around.
Apologies on the radio from Paz, but that could be somewhat devastating for Marino Jr. on points. He's the one of the drivers coming in, and here's the big thing. He might be, with 55 to go here, going to be good on gas. Not maybe for GWCs, but will be in a spot where I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of those who stays out if we keep getting cautions at a certain point.
Yeah, just has to fix the damage here. A little bit on the right front of that car. The good news is he's 18th. There are only 18 cars on the lead lap. Reggie Kime is 13th. Marino Jr. has certainly got more stage points than only the 5 he is behind Kime. So he would be making progress should he stay on the lead lap, regardless where he finishes. Is it enough progress? Not quite. He's going to need a lot more than that to come Daytona next week. So he's going to have to get back up there. But at the very least, it's not an awful situation for the 48 since there is so much time left, about 50 laps.
The huge part about this, too, is remember the 44 has been in the same boat, too, scoring points in the stages and is up at the front, too. And
That's right.
that's the biggest wrench in the potential possibilities when it comes to Marino Jr. is if Crowder still outscores him or still keeps up a solid clip, can still pass Kime at about the same point. Oh, that was close for good, though.
Yeah, it was. I think what we know for sure, unless something changes substantially in the running of this race, one of Kime or Zach White is going to be out of the chase at the conclusion of the night, with likely Crowder in. And then it's up to Marino Jr. to get the last spot next week, is more than likely what's going to happen here tonight.
Zach White, for reference, 21st. White.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Was he legal choose?
Yep.
Oh,
To
man.
the back goes the 91. So
Hate it
there
for the
goes some
91.
points there.
Yeah, I hate that for him. Having such a good run and just a bit of a mental lapse there.
And this will see the field have to wait a moment while the 91 takes the slow drop to the back. Still have, coming up to 51 to go. It's Kelly versus Crowder on the front row, though. Already see that 95 trying to warm up its tires. You know who's back up here, by the way? Wesley Burke.
And Skylar Dixon.
Both of them.
Remember, that car was sideways like 5 laps ago. I'm so impressed with that save from Skylar Dixon. I mean, you just don't see that in this car.
By the way, heard from Joshua Gillen with the way the cautions have worked. He's good for 65 laps on gas.
Not too much farther. I had 62 as the top, so that's not too much farther than what we originally anticipated.
Green, green, green.
Oh, what a...
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Not sure what happened there with
Boy,
Crowder.
Wasn't Crowder the control car?
That was my thought, too.
Yeah, that's...
Caution.
Yeah, there we go. We're probably going to have to sort that one out. I don't know if that was for cause or if that's
Michael
just...
Wade.
Oh, it is Michael Wade?
26.
There he is.
And remember the aggressive driving warning for Mixer. Watch the 5.
5 is that... There, hey, now the numbers on the side of the car. Interesting.
Put him on during a pit stop.
There you go. How do you do? Yeah, he got him. Oh. Oh, and Paz is in it, too. Oh, man.
Teammate on teammate violence, indirect violence at least.
Hate to see that. I don't think
And-
the damage is too bad for Paz. Oh, it is pretty substantial on the left front.
Yes. Mixer was just checking it out for Paz and apologizing probably on the radio.
Yeah. That was a big
So,
hit.
Christian Barnes also having to come get damage repair right now. He had his nose crushed in for the restart.
Well, I wonder, what are we going to have on this? Was that restart legal, I guess, is the question I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, that is something we're going to have to wait for an official word from. By the way, Mixer parked for the night. He's disqualified.
Yeah, that tracks. But no, the thing that, ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying to figure out here is, because Good was the leader, Kelly was second, Crowder was third. When Good picked the top, Crowder picked behind him, because Good obviously went to the back for the EOL. Crowder got to move up a lane. Usually, I believe that means the driver who'd inherited the spot the leader was in becomes the choose car, I think. So, or not the choose car, sorry, the fire-off car. The one who has to be the first to fire off. It's possible that because Kelly was second, that moved to Kelly. So we're trying to figure that out, because if Kelly was the fire-off car, obviously he went well within his rights, and that's great. If Crowder was the fire-off car, Kelly theoretically should be under penalty for launching too soon. Which is true, I don't really know right now. It's a bit of a predicament, and I believe we're going to pace until we figure it out.
Landon Kelly's already moving to the apron. I think that's the sign of where it's going.
Yeah, we got our answer.
I was about to say we had precedent earlier when Ricky Paz inherited the lead in that situation.
That's right.
And he was the one who fired off when that was the case. Kelly to the back again.
Yeah, and this one's going to hurt a lot more because we've only got 45 to go. It's possible, but it's a tall task to get 18 spots in only 45 laps. Gives Crowder the lead with Dixon in second. Coming to the choose, I believe.
Race control making its clarifications here, coming up towards that mark, and Crowder. Oh, that was a little bit close there, but he did choose it.
Yeah, I feel like he may have wanted the bottom. Dixon was already there.
I mean, he could have moved down if he wanted to try and force Dixon to cross up to the top.
Could have.
And obviously, some of the drivers going to just have to hope they can find some Band-Aids to put on the race car.
Zach
Can't
Davidson,
confirm.
cough. With the massive hole in the nose of the 01.
Ricky Paz, maybe. By the way, can't confirm it was the jump start call. Yeah. Race control just gave that clarification to us and confirmed it was the multiple warnings for the 5 on why they pulled in. So Mixer, multiple times with warnings, done for the night, as we said earlier.
Yeah. Well, all in all, I mean, still 24th place run for Mixer. So in a relief effort, not the worst he could do, but that will probably get relegated to last car starting the race in 33rd instead of Luke Barnes.
And so we come up to 44 to go here. Crowder in that loose inspired scheme, still at the front of the field alongside Dixon. Row 2 has some interesting characters with Burke and Zach Davidson in the conversation despite heavy nose damage. Here we go for the restart.
Boston up in 5th as well with Lewis. John Ullman is in the top 10.
Drivers that wanted some good runs or underdogs. Davidson moving out of the way of the leaders, or at least out of the way of Lewis. Goes to the inside and letting some cars pass. Marino Jr. now boxed in.
Now where does the 48 go? Oh, Kime tight further back, out of the top 10 now.
Boston keeping to the outside of Marino Jr. actually putting up a good fight.
They are 3 wide and bouncing off each other.
River Hayes won.
Fiffner. Wow.
Was about to say Kime wanted to cover out the middle and bounced off that 81 machine. Now Hayes is flying, and River Hayes, he ended up pitting for tires in the last a couple cautions ago.
Yeah, his tires are about 15 laps newer than everyone in front of him, save for Dixon, who still was on those really old tires from the stage.
Yeah, Dixon's in an interesting spot. Remember, with the fuel, obviously, about 46 laps into the run this time by. Boston, a little wiggle. Marino Jr. looking to pass Davidson now.
Got one.
Oh, he's a little tight again. Hit the wall again.
And put that one in a body bag.
Still driving, though. Look who's caught up with heavy speed. The fresher Goodyear Eagles on the short run are flying. And Hayes would really like to get up to where, you know, he started the race on the pole from. He's led one lap tonight.
Had to chase down Kelly early. Obviously had that half slide down the front stretch and hasn't seen the front since.
It's been one of the drivers having to come in multiple different times with stops, some various different strategies, etc.
Yeah, he's pit the second most times tonight with 12. Only Isaac Wilson's pit more, and that would be 13 times. Your leader, for reference, has pit 4 times tonight.
Meanwhile, Lewis, be a solid night for Dustin Lewis.
Lewis got crossed over.
Oh, man. Look at that with Boston behind trying to set him up, too.
And if Hayes can get around Marino, they have the same tires. They pit on the same lap for the fresh rubber.
That was with Marino Jr. taking some repairs previously as well. Marino Jr. has been a little bit more timid compared to what Hayes is doing, though. Look at Hayes. Had to bounce back behind, though, with Boston there.
Yeah, realizing that through that hole is going to close in the middle. Did not want to have the same thing that happened last night, or on Wednesday, sorry, a number of times with that contact.
Never send up the inside for the 48 to get around Boston. Meanwhile, Lewis, we're talking about just looking for a top 5 effort here. Would be his 3rd top 5 of the season if he was able to hold on. Doing a good job battling this 82 here.
And he is also on some pretty old tires. 27 laps on his.
Taking his time here, but the big thing is Marino Jr. and Hayes aren't really fighting for that spot behind him. So as the 8 clears on by, that 48 and 81 linking together or chipping away this gap a little bit by bit every lap. Last time by, those two are 2/10 quicker than the battle up in front here.
Boston just had an issue with the connection. He's back. Something to watch out for the 23. Yeah, fastest car on the racetrack that is not the leader. Marino Jr. is right up there. Hayes as well. Now they're fighting for the spot.
Boston getting warnings for his technical issues. May have to drop to the back soon. Look at that send by Lewis. Try to get around Dixon for second in contact with a crossover.
Yeah, Dixon slammed the door on the 8, and that cannot thrill Dustin Lewis very much. We got a good run there.
He is really committed to sending it hard into 3. Is that going to stick, though, long term? Again, going to cross up. Good cut.
That was close.
Yeah, right now, Lewis trying to get that 8 forward. Wesley Burke still is taking a poke whoever nicks the pass. Meanwhile, Hayes just about used the door up on Marino Jr. behind him.
Yeah, with only 30 to go, it's go time for Marino Jr. and Hayes. The only shot they have is to get around each other and pass the 3 in front of them. They have to get it done very quickly. Because Dixon is almost 3 seconds behind Crowder, who's just kind of in his own zip code right now.
It's going to be difficult to catch up to the 44 from here on out now. But Marino Jr. watching up for the high line. There was near contact there with Dixon and Burke, with Burke getting ahead of all this. Marino Jr. to clear. Hayes does. But the 82 is now up to second. He's got a little bit of damage, but it isn't hurting him. Lewis now to pass Dixon, takes 3rd.
Now the tires are finally gone away on the 89. Marino Jr. needs to get by very quickly, and Hayes in that same order. About to be 25 to go from Richmond. Oh, man. The 48 is really testing that outside wall attitude. He's hit it a bunch here.
Yeah, that wheel maybe moved a couple notches here. They worked their way to the straightaway. Race control, keeping an eye on everything here with the battle going on aggressively for fourth. Marino Jr. is loose. Here comes Hayes.
Exactly what Marino Jr. couldn't have happen, as Hayes might be able to get the run off the corner on the older tires. I guess I should say against the older tires of Dixon. Into one, looks like Hayes has got that spot away. If he can just throttle up here, and yes, he's got it.
For Hayes clear, and Dixon
He thought about
cutting
it.
up. Wasn't able to get the run back, yes, with the older rubber. Here's the concern if you're Skyler. You need a caution right about now. You're 62 laps in now, and Boston is coming in.
Yeah, I think he got the black flag from race control for blinking too often, if I have to take a guess at it.
We've got a warning from race control already. Might have had to blink again. Marino Jr. was the one trying to say blink. And I think that really came to play here for why the 23 has to come down and sort the connection issue out for safety concerns. Obviously, you don't want him to have connection issues and no one knowing where you are.
We saw that happen on Wednesday. That was a big talking point. Driver disappeared out of turn 4, hit the wall, came back in front of traffic, collected another driver, ended their day right there. Oh, good, and Paz having a bit of a scrap here for 8th. Oh my goodness, good again, sideways off of 4. Gonna give Kelly the spot, gonna give the 27 the spot.
You know, we hooked up the track. Davidson is not gonna pass by. So with that being said here, we're down to 22 laps to go. Once again from Richmond. Some more squeezing going on with Fiftner and co, but River Hayes you see up the road. He's just about up to the 8 and just about up to the 82. A chance to get the second here. Here's the wild thing. He's still 2/10 off the pace of Crowder, but the caution is out. It doesn't matter. Now it's going to come down to short run speed.
I think it was Isaac Wilson.
And I believe he's gone.
Yeah, it has not been a great night for the 93. Hate it for him, just really minding his own business too, and just caught up in a bunch of stuff that he really didn't have any business being a part of. Yeah, up into the door of the 05. And then that's it.
Roll of the dice for pit stops. Ricky Paz should say, stayed out. Everyone else comes down. Now, who takes 2 tires to take a gamble for track position? This is likely the final time we'll see anyone down with under 20 to go.
Yeah, that's a big call for Paz. That's a big call to stay out. Gillen going to do it as well, though he might do that late pit maneuver. Crowder down and away should be the first off of pit road. Yes.
Actually, it was Berg. He took 2.
Oh, with the 2 tires. Okay. Crowder first with 4. Everyone behind him taking 4 except for Davidson, who took 2. Yeah, this is precarious, I would say. Gillen now hitting pit road.
If I was him, I would have just said, you know what, I want to try to win the race and stay out there. Even with him letting the teams much the way, try something.
I think with the 93 just exiting the race, for Gillen, it's all about just try and get as many points as you can, and you're probably not going to do that by restarting up front, because you're probably going to get run over on old tires. So we're getting to the point in the race where things usually turn up a little bit, JP.
That was kind of what I was getting at, where it's like, as long as it's not you, it's a big advantage if you get a bunch of cautions. Here's the thing, it's only 1 car now.
On the flip side, it's usually the driver who stayed out who either starts it or is the first one involved.
Yeah.
With those cautions, just because of the pace difference. And Gillen hasn't exactly been one of the front runners tonight anyway. So couple that with the old tires, and of course you have a recipe for just falling through the field very quickly. At least now he can be on offense like everyone else is.
Equal footing, but still.
Right.
Now, do we see some short track flare come up here We'll find out because we'll have about 16 to go when we restart. Obviously, this is the big thing. It could be anyone's race because if you've kept an eye on short run pace, at least 4 or 5 different drivers have matched short run pace in the first 15 laps off a restart.
That's right. We're there. We're in that window. Burke has been good. Crowder, Hayes, Lewis was pretty stout on that last run. Marino Jr.'s quick. Dixon, Kelly. I mean, Dixon and Kelly are a little far back in 8th and 9th, but I mean, like you said, if we get some cautions here, we could really see a big shakeup. I don't think we're done seeing Barney wave that flag.
Here we go. We're coming up to 16 laps remaining here from Richmond. It's Paz versus Burke on the front row. Crowder versus Hayes in row 2. Lewis and Marino Jr., Dixon and Kinzer, Kelly and Davidson. Some of the other notables, Barnes is in 11th. Reggie Kime is in 15th. Zach White, one of those laps down, is in 19th. One of those close to the bottom of the top 16. Michael Wade still the last car running. That leaves us currently with 21 on the racetrack. Here we go. How will this go with Paz rolling the dice after all the stops? He's off and away. But now watch for 1 and 2, how much they close.
And a bunch of different lines. 82 way down to the bottom. 44 up to the top. Lose the record behind him. Kelly's around.
Caution flag is out. Landon Kelly. Oh, and might have just got saved by a blink by Wade.
Michael Wade got DQ'd. Too many incident points.
Wow.
Yeah. Time was involved in that slightly as well. I think the 9's okay. But it was Kelly where this started. 3 wide, contact with Barnes.
Bounce.
Bowman around as well. Gillen was in it.
Pretty substantial penalty potentially with the incident limit, but now it's kind of what the gamble is. If you're Ricky Paz, you need cautions to win this race.
Yeah, that is the perfect situation for Paz. I mean, it could not have gone better than that. All of the drivers behind him, their tires got a little warmer. Air pressure's up a little bit. They're still probably not optimal, but they're a little bit closer to optimal. But Paz's have a good opportunity here to cool down, get those air pressures back down. We should be pretty close to equal now on this run. The heat cycle going to be a big deal versus Crowder, Burke, Lewis, Marino Jr., and everyone else behind him.
And so all this is to see everybody restart with about 13 to go. We're down to about 20 cars left in the race. Gillen amongst those coming down, Landon Kelly amongst those coming down this period. Crowder going to have the chance to start next to that 99. Have a great chance to try and clear by 1 and 2 on the next restart, depending on what lane they choose.
Now, what do you think? If you're the 99, where do you go? Bottom or top?
If I'm the 99, probably the top. And Crowder probably goes the opposite.
I'd have to think so. I don't think you can line up behind Paz. I mean, you'll get the jump, probably. But you just don't want to take the risk of Burke squeezing in front of you into turn 1. Maybe some sort of slide job or something, depending where they start. I mean, that's the risk you run if you don't pick opposite of Paz here. So Paz will go top. Crowder top, right behind him. Burke to the bottom.
I'm intrigued about that one.
That's right.
Risk a tire spin, risk of a hold-up if you aren't able to clear,
Yeah.
unless the plan is follow Paz when he gets the launch and then go to his inside or outside.
Yeah, I don't know. This is precarious, to say the least. I mean, you could do what they did on Wednesday and just launch in the middle of 3 and 4 and, you know, get the black flag cleared for the leader and go on and try and get the win that way. I wouldn't recommend it, obviously, but yeah, who knows what we're going to see this time.
Gonna have 10 laps to go when we restart this race. Marino Jr. up on the outside, also gonna be interesting to watch for. Needs big points, that 48. Would really like to get a second win here on the season. All that's to say, as we get ready to restart, 17 drivers all on the lead lap here in the Slim Chickens Cup Series, the penultimate race of the regular season. Here we go.
Here we go.
Will they get a good launch? Paz versus Burke. Back underway and contact. They're able to keep going.
Yeah, that was
Crowder.
Another weird restart.
Here comes
Contact!
with Paz.
There goes Burke. There goes Hayes in front of Good. Caution's out.
Crowder took the race lead. And here we go again. Burke has towed.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that restart again. That was just another strange one. Yeah, 82 just tried to shove it in there. Around goes Hayes. Kime hit the wall pretty hard. So let's see, where is the restart zone? They're definitely in the zone. It almost was like, I think just the 82 launched first and then Paz went. I think that's all it was. Just a bit of a mistiming thing.
As Hayes was able to straighten it out at least. Burke, done for the night, has left the facility. He's off to go find lemons.
Yep. Yep.
And so, that brings us under 7 to go. But unfortunately, in the case, if you're a fan of Paz's call, he's no longer the leader. Crowder is.
I still like his call. I mean, I don't know if he was going to get a top 2 the way that it was looking when he was a little further back with the damage and all that, but he still has a shot at finishing on the podium here. It is going to require a whale of a restart wherever he is, whether it's behind Crowder or beside him. So he's got to hold off a hard-charging Marino Jr. and a hard-charging Lewis on only 35 lap older tires than them.
And so, as things get discussed on the radio here, we're in the home stretch here. Crowder, Paz, Marino Jr., Lewis, Dixon, Kinzer, Davidson, Good, Hayes, Barnes, all up in the top 10 here. This restart does see us with 17 still in the lead lap, as we talked about. What do you think we see here, especially with what could be coming up here for the Chews? It looks like they're already choosing.
Yeah, Cho's behind Crowder. Kind of expected that. Marino Jr. to the bottom. Lewis. Skylar Dixon's back in this thing, too. And how about that Kinzer car in 6? Just quietly around. Good was involved in the accident. He's back up there. That duct-taped together steel car of Zach Davidson's the top 10 still. I mean, we got an interesting top 10 here as we close in on the final 5. And JP, if we get a caution here, we are going overtime.
And obviously, if we go to overtime, it can get very wild. Remember what happened in the truck race we were talking about before? That was pandemonium incarnate. But we're at 1 degree, 3-lap dash. Make it 4, actually. Decide the winner here from Richmond.
If you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, buckle the seatbelt on your couch. You're going to need it. It's about to get wild. Get the popcorn. Get the soda pop. It's about to get wild.
So here we go. Who's going to get the best launch here? Marino Jr. looking for a second one. Crowder looking for his 5th. Both of them trying to find their way above the cut line. Paz stays buttoned up behind the 44. They're all bumping and banging. Marino Jr. got the launch first this time.
Yeah, that's not legal.
Restarts under review for obvious
goes the
reasons.
Lewis almost spun. He's 4 wide.
Crowder's alongside for the race lead, though. Might not matter, though, because of the way that start went. 3 to go.
This could be Marino's season. With this call, they're dooring each other. Dixon just got shoved out of line by Paz, I believe.
Marino Jr. sends it again on the outside. Crowder clears. 48 cross up. Now gets to the inside. Still waiting for the official call with 2 laps to go.
I'd have to assume we all know what's coming. 44 trying to get the good run. He's going to go down to the bottom again.
Crowder looking to clear off the corner, gets in front, has the advantage. 1 to go from Richmond.
Lewis almost lost it behind him. They're 4 wide. And they're wrecking, almost. Great save by Hinson.
Able to keep
They
it
are
straight.
wrecking.
Well, there goes that point. Oh, wow. Out of 4, Ashton Crowder yet again wins in Mystic Racing League competition.
They're still wrecking behind him.
And some hard battling at the end. You've seen the spins, Morgan. That was wild.
Yeah, that was just a loose moment from the 55 in front of Lewis, in front of Kelly. Then something happened coming to the line. I don't know what it was. Oh, it was good on his own. Just went around. Got Dixon.
They look like bowling balls, throwing the bowling pins back there with some of the stack ups at the end of that one. But wow is all you can say. Crowder, no matter what, finding his way up on top and gets it done at Richmond, Morgan.
Yeah, what a race. I mean, weren't sure if I'm not sure still if Marino Jr. will get credited with second or not. But the 44, regardless, didn't leave it in the chance of race control. Said, I'm going to go take this win away, and he got it tonight in Richmond.
Celebration time for the 44 machine tonight. Again, he's picked up a lot of wins here in the MRL already. This is 5 now in 8 starts. More than 50% win percentage. Here's a look at the unofficial race results. Again, keyword unofficial. Crowder, Marino Jr., and Kinzer on that podium for now. River Hayes, if there's any penalty, would move up. Good, Paz, Dixon, Hinson, Barnes, and Lewis, the top 10.
How about Hinson? Was 4 laps down, back to a top 10. Great run for him.
Phenomenal, Morgan, as this rest of the field was jumbled up, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gillen in 11th. That is a great run for that car to pit on the final restart. Ullman in 12th, Davidson in 13th spot, Kelly back to 14th after the spin, Kime at the top 15, just what he needed. Fiffner in 16th spot, Taylor 17th, Zach White will finish 18th here tonight, 3 laps down. Chad Allen in 19th with Burke in 20th.
21st, Wilson, Boston, after having to pull down with technical issues, 22nd. Wade, Banky, Mixer, the top 25. Maupin, Billings, Moyer, Zachary King, Daly. Down the order, many laps down with some various levels of trouble. Aaron Underhill did not have a great start, finished down in 31st. Brad Collier, early contact with some drivers. Luke Barnes, last in the order. Again, all unofficial. Just about to receive word for things for second on back here. Final restart is good, Morgan.
All right. Well, let's chat with our top 3 here.
Indeed.
The Sofa News Victory Lane, who we're going to start with.
How about Ashton Crowder, the one who won the race? Ashton, interesting into this one, but you get it done tonight with 55 laps led. How are you feeling about win number 5 in 8 starts in this series?
I'm feeling pretty good. Always feel good with a win, for sure. Yeah, it was an interesting one. I don't know how filled in you were about the race Wednesday night, but essentially I lost because the inside lane jumped the restart, and then weren't penalized for it, and then like full throttled and wrecked me. Shout out Parker Retzloff, but um, that happened. Well, not the full throttle wrecking, but the jumping the restart happened like 3 times in here too. So it was and it wasn't just to me; it was to other guys as well. So I don't know why that was popping up so much in this race because really haven't seen that before. Um, so yeah, so that was a bit of a headache. That kind of gave me a migraine. But everything else about the race was amazing, and it was super fun, and could run different lines. I was even running like the apron.
We saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of the first part of the race when it was still hot, and you know, if this thing didn't have that weird step up splitter, that wouldn't be possible. So, shout out NASCAR and their leader of technical development for that.
And you mentioned the differences in lines and how things worked out here tonight. Overall, though, what was the key about getting that long run success we've seen when we did get the long runs? Because you were faster than people on 30 lap old tires, mind you, on some of the long runs.
Yeah, I mean, I think just taking care of the right front. This car really rewards you for abusing it early. But if you're not set up for it, I think it kind of just flips the other way eventually. With this being a fixed setup, it was good early, like a really good early, like to abuse the right front. But honestly, as soon as you got like 7 laps in, it was toast. And it almost felt like it was like almost graining. It was weird. It would kind of like if you started her in the right front, you'd kind of like hop and skip like up the racetrack. There just wasn't any grip at all. So I think just saving and being patient too. I mean, all the runs where I was really good on the long run, I mean, I was really slow to start out. And if the setup wasn't built the way that it is, it wouldn't be possible to do that and then work back up through the field. So shout out I guess Matt Holden for that, for making a setup here that was really good. But yeah, just tire saving and then like being creative too. Like I said, we were able to run a bunch of different lines, and I think when you can do that, you kind of get into your bag of tricks there and give yourself some options. So yeah, it was really fun to be able to do that for sure.
So with that in mind, of course, there's a lot to think about coming up here because we already talked a little bit about potentially how things will look once we get to the chase, but we still have one race coming up to see if you are amongst the top 16. How do you feel about Daytona full distance to next week?
Is that on a Sunday?
That is on the Friday.
Friday.
Ooh, I'll be in Iowa, so I won't be here for that.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah,
that's big news.
Yeah, shout out the 44 team. So yeah, I'll be in Iowa, hopefully doing something worth effort, or not worth effort, but I don't even know what I was trying to say there, but hopefully I'll be doing something fun.
Like try to find Steven Wilson's rig, maybe.
He does live in Iowa. He doesn't like me though, because I told him he sucked way back when.
Oh.
And he proved me wrong. So he doesn't suck at all. I think he's like a 2-time champion now. But he is a Hawkeye though, so maybe we can find some common ground there and he'll help me out. But I think he's in Iowa City, if I recall correctly. He's more over there where University of Iowa is, and I'll be in Newton, like Des Moines area. So we'll have to see. But But yeah, maybe I'll bring. Well, I'll have to bring my computer, so maybe I can find an old wheel and pedals somewhere in my garage and start that race and uh, have the luckiest race ever and win. That won't happen, but we'll see. I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
Any other shout you'd like to give here tonight?
For sure. Yeah, everybody at Alpha Prime, I'm no longer LARPing with that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, shout out to Alpha Prime, Black's Island, Brendan Poole, he was supposed to be here tonight, but he has a wife. Kinda lame. He was supposed to crew chief me, but anyways, I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed. But yeah, so Midas, he'll never watch that, so it's fine. Midas CW, Sons, oh my gosh, I'm so confused on what I'm saying right now. I'm making myself laugh. Yeah, no, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and then the league for sure. I mean, the race Wednesday had a lot of cautions, but from the driver's seat, it was really fun. And this one had a fair few cautions, and it was still really fun. So I have faith in us that we're going to turn that one around and have some green checkers minus stage finishes, and then we're gonna look like $1 million. So I'm looking forward to the future here at Mystic.
Once again, congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Ashton Crowder comes away on top tonight. Again, race control confirmed. Final restart was good. Marino Jr. holding on to second. He's with Morgan.
Anthony, Morgan, and JP up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, this race was the one you needed. We could have had it last week at Indy until that dreaded turn one wall got you off the exit, but you needed to gain points on Reggie Kime tonight and Zach White as well in a big way, and you did just that. So I think second in both stages, if I'm not mistaken, top three regardless in both stages, finishing second overall in the race. There's a good chance you walk into Daytona with only a handful of points to go to the cut line.
Yeah, that was the goal tonight. I severely messed up in Indy. I was kicking myself all week for that, and because I feel like I could have beaten Ashton there, and I feel like I could have beaten Ashton possibly tonight. I mean, he's definitely the best in this league. He's very, very good at what he does. But I mean, tonight we just had to execute. Richmond's an track for me. I got the points I needed, and Daytona and Talladega, they're my bread and butter. I'm really a super speedway guy, so I have full hope that I could possibly go out and win next week and get the final points that I need to possibly lock myself into the chase.
All right, well, full length or 1 week from today. Does that change at all what you do, being that it's the full 160 versus the probably 100 it was going to be otherwise?
A little bit. If it was 100, I would definitely be placing myself in the front, like for the entire race next week. But I'll probably be like mid to back, even though that's probably where all the wrecks are going to happen. But it's just going to really be a fuel game next week. So we'll see how we can do, and hopefully I can go back to back on super speedways.
Hey, that's the goal, isn't it? But solid run for you tonight. At a track that you say is meh for you, you definitely were one of the fastest cars here. I think you actually you were the second fastest lap here to only River Hayes clipped one off faster than you. So for a meh track, you clearly found some speed. Did anything click for you during the race that maybe he had you find some more speed?
I feel like just honestly, I'm kind of glazing Ashton, but just watching Ashton run the top line, I was able to learn a little bit from him, and I was able to run the top line. I contended with him somewhat, somewhere during the final stage, and like just really watching and learning, and then I just try to apply it.
Well, you did a pretty good job of it. Second spot here tonight. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out as we move on to the final race of the regular season in Daytona next week?
I'd love to shout out Derek, for spotting me tonight, and Dan Motorsports as a whole for giving me the ride of the 48. Landy Kelly for being in voice chat with me. I'd also like to thank Graham Crackers Racing, which is my A Open team, and Ryko Motorsports, which is where I get my setups, Ryko.gg.
There you go. Anthony Marino Jr., second spot here tonight.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. Thanks for the time.
Yep.
Back over to JP, who is caught up with Cole Kinzer.
Yes, indeed. Newcomer when it comes to Mystic. How do you feel about a top 3 in your Cup debut?
Top 3 was actually really good there after going a lap down from a strategy blunder.
Yeah, how much pressure did that put on you after you had that situation, obviously?
Coming through the field, it was definitely sketchy on restarts, because depending on what lane you were in, someone was gonna get loose or go up into you as the race went on. But I just kept my nose clean mostly, and only had to, I think, pit for damage once, which was pretty nice. But yeah, just kept the nose clean, and I knew I had the pace to come through, so that's where I am.
So what's the plan for you in Mystic Racing League competition with you? One of those, it seems, if you look at your name data when it comes to things, you're one of those that's made some starts, but tonight, making the Cup start, what's the plan for the future?
This was just a sub drive for a buddy of mine, so I might sub a little bit more during the season, but you probably won't be seeing me much.
Anyone you do want to give a shout out to, including who you sub for tonight?
I don't even know that, but shout out Chris, charter owner. Really appreciate him for texting me and giving me this ride.
Congratulations on the top 3.
Thank you,
Colin Kinzer. And sometimes that is that way. Sometimes, Morgan, you find a ride and you just drive. Find details later.
That's right. That's the best way to do it. Feels like a movie almost.
I thank everyone taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on VSPEED, as it was an interesting night here. Morgan, your thoughts on tonight's Slim Chickens Cup Series race at Richmond?
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I think a pretty good race. Just some really solid racing throughout the entire field. Some good 2 and 3 wide battles. A few too many cautions maybe for this racetrack, but typically Richmond provides that with just how many lines you can run. And on top of all that, I mean, it was just a lot of fun to see the battles for the lead, the crossovers, the high side, the low side, the apron, the middle, whatever line you wanted to run, it was viable, it seemed, and just a fun one all the way around tonight.
So on that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's coverage. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for this evening's coverage here on VSPEED. For my co-announcer and producer, Morgan Cook, I'm Justin Prince saying thank you so much for watching this evening's coverage. We hope to see you next time we decide who's battling for a championship. Daytona full distance in a week's time. We'll see you then. Good night from Richmond.